Do you know the best way to mail documents to the IRS? I'm Andrew Bosserman, tax attorney and founder of Boss Tax Law. And in this video, I'm going to quickly tell you the best way to mail documents to the IRS, as well as a few other quick tips to making sure you mail information, tax returns timely. So, in summary, the best way to mail documents to the IRS is by certified mail with return receipt, and that's through USPS, the Postal Service. But as a quick background, Internal Revenue Code Section 7520 essentially says that the date mailed is considered the date a document is filed, and you can go by the postmark on the envelope. So that's important because when you are, say, filing a tax return or submitting some other document with a deadline to the IRS, as long as it's postmarked on the due date, that document will be considered timely filed. However, you as the taxpayer, you have the burden of proof of showing the IRS that you timely filed a document. So just generally mailing something, sticking a stamp on the envelope and sending it to the IRS is not recommended because you can't prove what date that was actually filed because you don't have some sort of tracking number or other sort of receipt showing that it was mailed that date. So for that reason, certified mail with return receipt is recommended. And that's because when you send something certified mail, you get a receipt from the post office, with a postmark saying it was mailed that date, along with a tracking number. And the return receipt means that the IRS, when they receive the letter, someone will actually sign for it, and you get a copy of the signature, so you can also prove that it was delivered. So this is what I think is the best way to send things to the IRS. And actually, the Internal Revenue Code, that same section 7520, says that if it's sent certified mail and you have the receipt, that's essentially evidence that the document was timely mailed and received by the IRS, and the IRS would have to rebut it otherwise. And you may be thinking, could I send documents to the IRS by UPS or FedEx? Because those have a tracking number as well? And the answer is you can in some instances. The problem is that not all IRS addresses accept UPS or FedEx packages or other, say, courier services. And these are called private delivery services by the IRS. Or if they do accept it, sometimes you have to mail it to a different IRS address. So because of this, I just recommend sending it certified mail with return receipt because the Postal Service delivers to all IRS addresses and you don't have to worry about those kinds of issues. Another issue to be aware of is that these timely filing issues do come up and they do sometimes go to court. For example, I was recently in tax court in Columbia, South Carolina, and I listened to some arguments between a taxpayer's attorney and the IRS, and the issue was whether their tax court petition was timely filed. And fortunately, the attorney mailed it certified mail. He used, or the firm used, a postage meter at the office and then had someone drop it in the mailbox at the post office on the due date. What happened was tracking information, USPS somehow screwed it up, and there wasn't tracking information available even though it was certified mail, and it didn't arrive to tax court until after the deadline. So the IRS was arguing this isn't timely filed, but fortunately the attorney was able to argue in court and had witnesses of who actually took the tax court petition and mailed it at the post office. They testified, and the court ruled in favor of the taxpayer, saying, based on this evidence, and the IRS can't show otherwise, it was timely filed. If you do use some sort of postage meter to create postage, certified mail postage, I use one called Simple Certified Mail because I do lots of certified mail mailings. I recommend if it's important to show that something's being actually delivered timely, so saying you're mailing something on the due date or close to the due date, I recommend actually walking it into the post office and having them scan it at the desk, and you can get a receipt, and that will show it was dropped off on the day you took it to the post office, and the tracking number will get in their system that day. Because if you just say put it in a blue mailbox or even at a drop box at a post office, you don't know if they are going to postmark it and enter it into their system that same day. So in summary, whenever you're mailing something to the IRS, you want to have the postmark date, and the best way to do that is certified mail with return receipt. So if there's any issues of the IRS not receiving the package or claiming it was late, you have, proof, both the postmark receipt you receive when you send something to certified mail, as well as the signature receipt when the IRS receives it, that the package was indeed mailed timely and received by the IRS. So if you have any questions about mailing things timely or have one of these timely filing issues, I'd be happy to help. Feel free to reach out.